Thank you all for the love on last week's video. I'm really happy you guys enjoyed it. And I will say this right now, if we can hit 35 likes on each of the remaining top 6 videos, being the top 6 ice, top 6 dragon, top 6 fairy, and top 6 steel, I believe those are the last types we have left. So if you can do that, we will release a top 10 mega evolution as quickly as possible. What's up, Ocean? You got Matt here, coach of your Montreal Melodic and your local League format enthusiast. Today I have another top 6 type video. Today we're covering the top 6 ice types in the Pokemon Draft League format, and I'm super excited for this one because ice is one of the best offensive typings. I will say this, there are 2 Pokemon on this list that I did not expect to make it, but looking at the ice type pool, there really aren't that many amazing ones, but the ones that are great at the top are really good. Anyways guys, let's get into how I kind of went over this list and got to my top 6. So to start off, this list is based off of my opinion, so if you disagree, that's okay. Let me know in the comment section below why you think I'm wrong and what your top 6 would be, or just make a video telling me what your top 6 would be instead, and I'll watch that and I'll give you my thoughts on that too. Also, I want to look at how these Pokemon performed as ice types and not as how their secondary types are. I believe only one of these Pokemon on my list does not have a secondary typing, and the rest of them do. So because of that, guys, you could kind of argue they're really good as their secondary typing, but the ice type still is what makes them very powerful. Again, this list, my opinion, so if you disagree, let me know. But if you guys do agree, if you guys do enjoy this video, you should definitely like the video and you should definitely subscribe for more Pokemon Draft League content and more Pokemon content in general. I'll make a ton of videos that I'm sure you guys will love. So yeah, that's that. Let's get started with my top 6 ice types in the Pokemon Draft League format. Coming in at number 6, we have a very underrated Pokemon with a very not diverse move pool, but a very useful move pool and a very useful dual typing, and that is Frostlass. Frostlass is a great Pokemon, guys. You're really quick with base 110 speed. You have access to a ton of support options and spikes. You have Destiny Bond. You actually get Aurora Veil in case you didn't know that. You have access to Hex and Light Screen, Reflect. No, you don't get Reflect. That's my bad. Sorry about that. But you do get access to Taunt and Sucker Punch. You're a very effective, fast taunter and very disruptive Pokemon for your opponent. Frostlass, believe me, if you don't prep for it, guys, you will lose a match. Like, it's so good at what it does. Ice and Ghost is an amazing offensive typing. The only type that resists Ghost is, well, that's immune to Ghost. You have Normal, and then you have Dark, of course, which resists it. Then you have Ice, which hits a lot of things really hard. So I really suggest you guys try out Frostlass. But offensively, you look at it, everyone thinks of Frostlass as being the super specialty offensive Pokemon. That's because it has, powerful Ice and powerful Ghost type moves on the special side. But it actually has 80 attack and 80 special attack. So you can run a very effective Ice Shard Frostlass set. And Ice Shard, yeah, it's only 40 base power, and you probably will be running a Timid Nature or a Modest Nature, but you have priority, and that's very useful. And from base 80, it's not that bad. It's also stab. Anyways, you do have access to a lot of other moves. You get access to Body Slam and Crunch. You have Destiny Bond Disable, like I said before. Hex is nice. You have Ice Beam and Ice Punch. You have access to Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, Sucker Punch, Switcheroo, Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Trick, and Will-O-Wisp. You're actually one of the few Pokemon that does get Thunder Wave, Toxic, and Will-O-Wisp all at the same time, which is very cool, very effective. And again, the Spike lead set is very effective, especially with Taunt. And guys, just try out Frostlass. I've never used it, but I have friends who have used it and who've used it against me, and it's so annoying. I hate it so much, but I can't deny how good this Pokemon is. Looking at its abilities though, you have Curse Body and Snow Cloak. Snow Cloak is only useful if you're running a Hail team, of course, or maybe you want to run a Hail set with Aurora Veil, and then you want to start, then you want your opponent to start missing moves on you. But Curse Body, guys, for some reason, just like Gengar, it always freaking works. I don't understand it, but it does. Anyways, those are my thoughts on Frostlass. If you disagree, let me know why. And yeah, let's move on to number 5. So coming in at number 5 is a Pokemon that I really did not expect to have on my list, and that is Cryogonal. Cryogonal, guys, if you look at it, is very underrated. Coming out in Gen 5, not many Pokemon fans know that much about Cryogonal because, again, Gen 5 wasn't the most popular from my understanding. But then you have a decent amount of stats. You have 50 attack, super good. 50 defense, super good. If you didn't know, that was sarcasm, by the way. But then you have 80 HP with 135 special defense. You're a very effective defensive Pokemon, a very effective specially defensive Pokemon. You have access to 95 special attack, which is useful, and 105 speed is more than serviceable. But then you have a ton of great moves, a ton of very underrated good moves. You have Aurora Veil, you have Defog and Rapid Spin, you have access to Flash Cannon and Freeze Draw, you have Haze, you have Ice Beam and Ice Shard, you have Knockoff, you have Light Screen and Reflect, you have access to Recover, you have access to Magic Coat, which can be very useful. Let's say your opponent has webs and you want to make sure that they have webs too. You can always use that. You have access to Signal Beam, Toxic. Like, this Pokemon can do a lot of really cool things. One of the coolest sets that I actually learned about through my boy Sohan, aka the OP Jelson, make sure to go subscribe to him, he loves this thing, is an Assault Vest set actually takes like 35% from a Naganadale's Flamethrower, which is wild. So I definitely suggest you guys to try out this thing. It makes a very effective special wall, and really, as a tier 5 Pokemon, you can't go wrong with this thing. It's very underrated, guys, and I got a bit of a true appreciation for it. There are really a lot of good Pokemon in tier 5 that not many people think about, and I think Craggle is definitely one of those Pokemon that really is out of this world. You do get access to a very good ability in Levitate. People don't really know that as well, but Levitate is very cool. Again, being immune to ground types, very nice. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Craggle. I definitely think it's something that you should try out. I think it's something that everyone should try out, and as long as you don't let it hit you with a physical fighting or fire or rock or, I don't know, anything physical, don't let it hit you with that. You'll probably go down. So those are my thoughts on Craggle. Let's move on to number 4. So here's where we get to the more higher end Pokemon. Number 4 is Alolan Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales is again one of the best Pokemon there are. Ice and Fairy typing is ridiculous, guys. There's not very much that wants to switch into this. Maybe Steel types, actually, yes, Steel types want to switch on this thing, but you can run Hidden Power Fire, Hidden Power Ground, whatever you need to do. But this thing is very effective, guys. I really like the dual typing. I should say Fire typings also switch in very well in this thing. But you look at its stats, nothing crazy, but its move pool is out of this world, and it's not only relegated to using Aurora Veil. You can always make it a threat having Veil on there because you do have access to Snow Warning, but you have access to moves like Aurora Veil. You have Blizzard, which is 100% accurate in your Hail. You then have Calm Mind or Nasty Plot, Dark Pulse. I'll say Dazzling Gleam, but you really want to run Moonblast unless you're doing doubles. You have Disable and Encore, which is nice, extra sensory, Freeze Dry and Foul Play, Hex. You have Ice Shard for priority, Moonblast again, like I said before. Pain Split, Psyshock is very nice, and then you have moves like Toxic. Very common moves on all Pokemon. So yeah, Ninetales is very effective. My favorite set that I ever ran on this thing was a Nasty Plot with a Berry with, I believe it was Moonblast, Freeze Dry, and Dark Pulse. Basically the set was meant to take a Lucario's Bullet Punch, live that hit as I switch. So I would go for the Nasty Plot on the switch to Lucario. He would then go for the Bullet Punch. I would fire off a Moonblast, and I would take that thing because I lived the hit. And yeah, this thing is so strong, guys. Base, what is it, 91 or 81? Its base 81 special attack isn't the best, but when you pair that with powerful set of moves like Calm Mind and Nasty Plot, you can really be effective. And also, if you get up a Veil and then you start setting up, this thing is going to take hits. Like, it just will. You have 73 in HP, 75 defense, which is nothing special. 100 special defense is pretty good. And then you have a very serviceable 109 speed stat, which is very nice. Unfortunately, you can't outspeed the laddies, and they can probably just OHKO you with random Hidden Power Steals, but it's still effective nonetheless. So the first 3 Pokemon we looked at were very supportive and very helpful for a team. This next Pokemon, and the next 3 Pokemon I should say, are extremely offensive and powerful. Nothing switches into them. Number 3, this is? Number 3, right? Yeah, number 3 is Mamoswine. Mamoswine, guys, is insane. We all know this. 130 attack, 80 defense, 80 special defense, 110 HP with 80 speed. I should say that's 60 special defense, that's my bad. This Pokemon is amazing. Mamoswine is amazing, guys. 130 attack is nothing to laugh at, but when you have moves like Ice Shard for priority, Icicle Crash or Icicle Spear, then you have access to something like Earthquake and Stone Edge. Do you get Stone Edge or Rock Slide? I'm pretty sure you get, yeah, you do get Stone Edge, that's my bad. But then you have like great supporting options. You have moves like Endeavor and Stealth Rocks. You get access to Iron Head and Knockoff, which is great. You have dual screens, which not many people knew. Light Screen Reflect, cool. Then you have access to moves like Superpower, which is always kind of useful depending on what you're going up against. And like we all know the meme, Life Orb, Adamant, Mamoswine. Nothing switches into it. Nothing. So, look, Mamoswine is phenomenal, guys. If you can set up with this thing, if you can get a speed boost into this thing, or if you can get, let's say, a random attack boost, I'm pretty sure this thing even gets bulk up if I'm not mistaken. Does it? No, it does not. That's on me. It's my bad. It doesn't get any setup, but this Pokemon is really good, and without a doubt, it's one of the top Ice-type Pokemon. It's also one of the top Ground-type Pokemon, and having it on both lists really checks off a lot of boxes for you. At tier 2 most of the time, I don't think I've ever seen it in tier 3, I don't think I've ever seen it in tier 1. It just provides so much offensive power for your team. I highly suggest picking it up whenever you can, guys. Nothing switches into a Mamoswine. People are always saying like, oh, I'm weak to this Pokemon, weak to that Pokemon. The one Pokemon that I always hear is the most common that they're weak to is Mamoswine. No one has anything for Ice and Ground Stab. It's such a great Pokemon, guys. I highly suggest picking it up. Number 2 is Weavile. Weavile is really good, guys. If you look at its speed stat and its attack stat, it is the definition of a glass cannon. You have a 120 in your attack stat and 125 in your speed stat, and not much wants to take the combination of dark and ice type hits. Basically, to me, the best things to take this are pure water types that are not holding item, or are megas, or have a Z crystal, whatever it would be. That is pretty much it. This Pokemon does get access to moves like Knockoff and Pursuit. You have Ice Shard and Icicle Crash and Ice Punch. You have access to a lot of really cool moves. Pair that with Brick Break or Low Kick, you have access to Foul Play, you have access to, I said Knockoff and Night Slash as well, yes, to Poison Jab, which is nice, and very underrated though is the Swords Dance set, because what is going to outspeed a 125 base speed Weavile, there's not much. There's the Pokemon that are faster and the Scarfers. And the Scarfers probably don't want to take some Ice Shards at +2. So Weavile is extremely powerful, guys. I definitely suggest picking it up because it is one of those Pokemon that is just not underrated, but it's just like people don't understand how good it is until they actually use it. You have access to moves like Taunt, you have Surf for some reason, you have access to Toxic, Swords Dance, you have access to X Scissor, which is nice, and you have actually Reflect, which is cool. You don't get Light Screen, but you do get Reflect. And if you do want to run a special set, you do actually get Nasty Plot, but Gengar doesn't, which is kind of weird. But you do get Nasty Plot, which is, I guess, interesting for that base 45 special attack stat. Now, Weavile is, of course, 4 times weak to fighting, so you gotta be very careful with what you pair it with. I highly suggest pairing potentially a Crobat, or even pairing it with something else that's just straight up immune to it right away, but that does get recovery. So a Ghost type with recovery is very nice to pair Weavile with. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on Weavile. Very, very effective Glass Cannon. Be very careful though if you're running a Life Orb set or a Choice Banded set, and Pursuit is always a good option on this thing, so be very smart with what you use for it, and Weavile will be very effective for you. A lot of varies, but it's true. This thing is extremely good. Next up though, we have number 1, and I'm pretty sure we all know what it's going to be. That's right, number 1 is Dewgong. Okay, no it's not, it's Kyurem-Black. Kyurem-Black is number 1, guys. Of course it is. This thing is a monster. 125 HP, 170 attack, 100 defense, 120 special attack, 90 special defense, and 95 speed. Just every stat there is amazing. To me, one of the coolest things about this Pokemon is that it's a very effective fast electric type check, and that's actually true. I've used it to beat a Mega Manectric 1v1. Looking at though, its typing is pretty good. You have Dragon and Ice, which is not bad. You're weak to Dragon, you're weak to Fairy, you're weak to Rock, Fighting, and I think I'm missing one. I think that's actually it. I could be wrong, but I think that's it. Anyways, you have really, really good offensive typing at Dragon and Ice. Not much wants to switch into Dragon types, again, except for Fairies and Steel types, because nothing is really resisting it, but there's a few things, but nothing is really super effective against it except for Dragon. But then you have Ice, which is again a great offensive typing, and trust me guys, the best answer for this thing is Steel types, but it gets access to Earth Power, so that's awesome. And if you have a 4 times weakness like Ferrothorn or Scizor, well, in Power Fire, right there. So looking at its move pool, guys, its physical move pools are bananas. Dragon Claw, you have Fly, which is kind of interesting. You have Freeze Shock, a Z Freeze Shock, guys, from an Adamant Max Attack Kyurem-Black is killing everything. It's killing everything. You then have Fusion Bolt because, of course, you're a Kyurem-Black, and then you have Iron Head, Outrage, because Outrage is always powerful. You have Rock Slide, you have Shadow Claw, Steel Wing if you want to be that guy and not run Iron Head. Then you have Zen Headbutt, which is very nice. The only thing that's really missing is like Ice Punch or Ice Cold Crash or Ice Fang even. A good physical Ice type move is literally all this thing needs to be banned, and that tells you something. 170 base attack is really ridiculous. You have Dragon Pulse for all special, you have Earth Power, you have Flash Cannon, Focus Blast, you have access to Ice Beam, which is probably your main Ice type move. You're usually gonna run a mixed setup, is what I'm trying to say. But then you have access to Shadow Ball and Signal Beam, and Zen Headbutt I already mentioned before. But to me, the coolest thing about this set is that if you're at level 100, to make sure that your sub is never broken by Seismic Toss, you need to run 52 EVs in HP. That's it. And after that, you can pair the rest in your attack, your special attack, your speed, your defenses if you want to take extra hits. This thing is incredibly bulky, guys. It's super underrated in terms of just the pure bulk that it has. And to finish it off, guys, it gets Roost. You get access to Roost on this thing. This thing cannot die. One of the coolest sets on this thing, and one of the smartest sets that people run, is a Life Orb set with Roost and 3 attacks. And your 3 attacks honestly can be, let's say you're running a special set with Dragon Pulse, or Draco Meteor, you get Ice Beam, and then you have Earth Power, something like that. And then Roost, of course. You're getting a ton of power on your attacks because of your Life Orb, and then you're getting Recovery and Roost. And if your opponent doesn't have a decent switch in, you're going to 6-0 them, straight up. 95 speed is fast enough to deal a ton of damage. If it was any faster, this thing would be busted. If you took away 5 points in its attack stat, put him in its speed, it's gone. You give it a decent physical Ice type move, it's gone. Like, this Pokemon is so close to being banned, and because of that, I have to put it number 1. I just had to. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on these 6 Pokemon. If you guys enjoyed this video, you should definitely like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what your top 6 favorite Pokemon of the Ice type are in the comment section below. And again, definitely like, comment, and subscribe, and share the video as well. Let everyone know what the best Ice types are, being Dewgong, right? Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. My name is MattOshea, and I will see you all next time.